found the very first speech that I gave to speakers in February 2012. And first of all, when I went on to the club, I had this little piece of advice that I found on the internet on making a speech, which I'll mention. First of all, it says, choose a topic you care about. Organize your speech in a logical sequence. Create an attention-grabbing opening. Rehearse. I haven't. Visualize success. I'm visualizing. Know your equipment needs. I never quite worked out what that was. Familiarize yourself with the setting. That seems important, and I'm okay with that. Concentrate on the message in the speech, not the audience. I found that kind of strange piece of advice, because you need to tune into the audience, don't you? That's what we're all told. Then no matter how nervous you may feel, don't tell the audience. It's amazing how many people do that.
Oh, I do that all the
I know you do that,
Don't make it look too obvious.
If you use visuals and stories, make sure they're relevant to your topic. Haven't got any visuals. Speak clearly and audibly. There we are. That was the advice. So there we are. First speech we were over in the Bludston Hotel in Splendour in Grandeur. First night I met Brian. I did my speech. Brian evaluated it. You did. You did. See if you can remember. And I'd actually managed to memorize it. But tonight I'll be reading it because time moves on. And I didn't need glasses to read in those days either. So there you are. So this is my first speech from 2012, and this gives you the opportunity to say, well, he hasn't improved much, has he?
So that was classified as an A1 back then, yeah?
Well, was it B? I can't remember. I think it was B.
Was it B1? B1. I think it was a B1.
B, and then A came on.
Now it's F and A.
Stop the chatter, please. 1 moment. So, the speech, I think, will be 9 minutes long. I honestly haven't a clue, but we'll have the lights at 8, 8:30, and the red at 9.
Okay.
I'll stop somewhere around there.
Okay.
And the title is Chips with Everything.
Chips.
So, Chair, fellow speakers, guests. I know it's early to talk about sending Valentines, because February 14th isn't all that far away. But we need to remember that no matter how many other wonderful relationships we might have in our lives, never forget to send a Valentine to your computer. Because we love our computers, most of all. How could we not? They help us run our lives, they almost never complain, they're always there to do what we ask, they never answer back. And all because we have beating at their heart a wonderful little microchip made of silicon and solder and bits. Think what drudgery it would be to run the club without email. Think of all the letters you can write, all the home finance you can do on your computer, and all the photos you can store. We can't get by without them. Think of how you can enter a whole new world of social networking. You can make friends with people on Facebook who you never knew existed. 3 weeks later, you'll wish it had stayed that way. If you have nothing else to do, you can tweet on Twitter, now X. See, I've upgraded it to modern times. And you can find out what your favourite film star is thinking about today. Probably nothing. And you can have all of this because of this wonderful little thing called a microchip. It's in your mobile phone, your television, your electric cooker, it's even in your toaster, if you've got a posh toaster. You may not see it often because it's no bigger than a baby's fingernail. It runs on something called binary code, which means it can only say yes or no.
Well,
but it can...
on or off, in technically speaking.
Yeah, it's my speech. I want extra time for that. But it can say yes or no 14 million times a second. You want to commentary on? So best not to get into an argument with the computer. And of course it's a new car. Who can compare with that special Valentine message on the little screen that says, engine malfunction, I shall not be starting up, consult your dealer. Yeah. And how did it all start? You know, I was looking it up today. Charles Babbage was the man. 200 years ago, Charles Babbage made his difference engine, an incredible piece of engineering, which allowed calculations to be done that people had never imagined could be done on a machine. Wow. What would Babbage have thought with this great piece of machinery? What would he have thought of today when you can get 1,000 reggae and hip-hop songs on an electric box no bigger than Matchbox, really? What would he have thought of that? And if he'd listened to one of those reggae songs, would he have chucked the whole thing in the bin? They say that the microchip in your mobile phone is more powerful than all the computers that helped put Neil Armstrong on the moon in 1969. And I guess they say if the car industry had made the same progress as the electronics industry, you'd be able to buy a Rolls Royce for £100, drive it around the world on a tank full of petrol, fill it up and put it in your pocket. So I love your computer, and especially love the microchip inside it, whether it's that romantic Intel Celeron i3 that can take you to the stars, or a plain old-fashioned AMD XP3, which is what I've got. It's a Dulles edition sync. So your computer may not be much to look at with a square face and a blank stare when the electricity is turned off, but deep down inside you know that its beating heart loves you, and it will never let you down. However, no matter how much you believe your computer romance was made in the stars, be aware that one day the love affair will be over. The romance will end. One day your loved one will gasp, bleep, 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 splut. And the pale blue screen will bear those terrible words that no romantic person ever wants to hear. Fatal error at XEE00024- application terminated. Then you will know that your loving friend is no more use to you than an employment reference from Donald Trump.
That was a
Extra time. In that terrible moment you will know that you've been cast adrift on a rocky sea of uncertainty called looking for a new computer. It's no use trying to find your new love through an online computer dating agency, because you are no longer online. The only hope you have is to take your courage in both hands and take the charge of the Light Brigade into the Valley of Death. Yes, I mean a trip to Curry's PC world. As you enter, there are guns to the right of you. The bombastic man who wants to sell you a laptop with a battery that lasts 12 hours. Go away, you will say. I want a romance to last for longer than 12 hours. Guns to the left of you. The lugubrious young man who wants to sell you the latest Arnold Schwarzenegger game machine with fantastic special effects and a body count of hundreds. Guns in front of you. The deputy manager who wants to sell you a printer that can print everything from banknotes to wallpaper, and the replacement cartridges that will cost more than your first house. Until finally, in the midst of all this carnage, you reach the guns at Sebastopol, or rather the exit, and you keep going until you get home. Some days later you will choose a Best Buy recommended by some magazine, just because you like the look of it. Pretty. And that's how most romances start, let's face it. Yeah. Your new romance will arrive not swept from heaven on a cloud of angels, but dumped off the back of an Amazon van in a large cardboard box. There will be no writing or guidance on the box, except when you manage to look underneath, it will say fragile, this side up. When you open the box, you will find the first potential rift in your new romance. There are no instructions. That is because in these days of cost-cutting savings, the instructions are all online. You will find a keyboard and a mouse with many cables with little grommets and pins. On the back of the computer you will find little sockets and pins all the same and yet all slightly different. This is a conundrum that you will never solve. To solve this problem you will need a 7-year-old. Find one wherever you can, there are plenty of them around. It doesn't have to be a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old will do. Beware of 5-year-olds. Their enthusiasm often exceeds their technical skills. Your little hero will have it all joined up in no time at all, and then you can look at your new romance. No longer a square face, but now a smiley widescreen face that promises endless devotion and a big smile. Soon you will see those magic words that mean so much to every romantic person. Windows is starting up. Then you can look forward to your new relationship and perhaps a romantic dinner. Chips with everything.